Greetings everyone and welcome back to our humble little homestead in Clanfolk, where we are presently, we've just finished making our very first jug, so that has unlocked the ability for us to add water. Now specifically this is adding water to fields, for example, though I guess you could add water to anywhere really. Higher moisture equals faster growth and also less risk of fire. So potentially you could just add moisture to create a fire break, I suppose, if you needed it. Mira bringing in the day's eel catch. Very nice indeed. Now we've got a number of things that we need to work on before winter entombs us. Namely, we want to get to the point where I can actually have food for our animals. Now that is not as easy as one might think. First and foremost, we're going to need a clothes zone to be able to unlock the sackcloth and sackcloth bottoms and sackcloth shirt, which will then allow us to make a clothing basket, which will then allow us to make a cat bed, which will then in turn allow us to make a pet food bowl and a water bowl, because apparently a dog bed just doesn't cut it. Once we've got these, we're going to be able to put out water for our animals at winter, which is obviously going to be very important, but I don't believe the pet food bowl will work for our livestock. Specifically, the only things that we put in here, I think, are raw meats, raw fish, and that will be food for our cat and our dog. For our livestock, we're going to have to go a lot further down, I believe, if memory serves. Yes, the grain trough and the hay trough. Now, these are very far away. Also the water trough, which would be more useful for our livestock, I suppose. Though I would imagine they'd be able to drink from the pet water bowl. I'm not entirely certain on that one. But regardless, these need planks and they need nails. And planks and nails suppose the existence of a timbery, which I imagine is up over here. There we are, which can turn logs into planks, and also a bloomery, or at the very least a kiln. Let's have a look. A smithy we're going to need to be able to put all those together. Where would that be? Got the bloomery, which will be, I guess, yeah, use ores and charcoals to make ingots. But where is the smithy exactly? Oh, I suppose this doesn't actually need a smithy, because that would only need an iron ingot to make. But we are going to need, there we go, there's the smithy. We are going to need the smithy to be able to make the nails that we're going to need to be able to make a water dipper. So we are 2 full industries away from being able to take care of our livestock through winter, which is very frightening because winter is right around the corner from us. Now, the thing with ideas, we're going to need a lot of idea points. You know, that is the long and short of it. We need a lot more idea points to actually get what we need done in time. The problem with that, we unlocked start fires. Let's have a look down here. So we can intentionally start fire. We can also prioritize fighting certain fires. This is useful since starting a fire will introduce a high amount of fertility into the area where the fire is at. But to get the idea points, we kind of need people to be in a good mood. Right now everyone is doing hauling, so that tells me a little bit about what's going on. So the mood there, let's have a quick look. Actually, Kyra is not too bad of a mood. But if we have a look at skills and hauling, we can see that people are doing a lot of their lower priority jobs. That is all right and all, but first and foremost, I would like Bentham to do cleaning before they do hauling. Furthermore, let's have a gander down here. Well, we've already got hunting being taken care of there. I don't think we need to worry over much about this, actually. Okay, well, one way of us getting better happiness is to make specific rooms. Right now, Bentham and Kyra are generally okay with the room they've got. It's a very nice room, and it's got dark at night. Amira, though, is afraid of the dark, and that is going to be a problem. I think we are desperately going to need a second room for Amira specifically. So let's have a think about setting this up. This will be one of the first bespoke rooms that we make. We don't need anything too grand, but if you make it about 3x4, I think that satisfies the requirements of it being a quote-unquote room. If you make it a 4x4, then it becomes a large room that has certain buffs, so we might want to aim for that. Regardless, we probably want to make use of this space anyway, but let's go ahead and start setting this up. Now, that's also going to require that we have a bit more storage space, so I'm going to move around a couple of these zones. Let's have this corpse zone a little bit further over here. We'll extend it all the way over there. And the reason why I extend it like that is so that I can just delete it whilst having the zone move around. It's a force of habit from RimWorld, if I'm perfectly honest. We probably don't really need that. The ingredient zone can come all the way down here, though, and all the way out. And then we'll eventually fill that in. And in the meanwhile, we want to place down some more hay roofs. Now, over here, we're not quite going to have the room for it. That area is marking where there isn't sufficient support to be able to place that down. So we're going to have to pop down a wall. That wall, once it's there, will fully support that building. Over here, we're going to have to do exactly the same thing. Let's pop in a door. We're going to want a straw door. We have no better option, and a straw window right beside it as well. We're not going to want that window anymore, so I'm going to pop a window. Actually, we could do away with this since we can move the windows. It's something I often forget. You can straight up just move a window if you particularly want to. Now, we are going to want things like hay for our animals over winter. And one of the things that we can do is we can break thistle down into hay if we don't have hay itself. So we probably want to collect a decent growth of thistle, though we've got plenty of grass over here. Let me have a look at the fertilization overlay. This is largely where the manure and the broken down spoiled food is going. Let's set up a big grass clear order over here. Now this is going to be something that's going to take a while for our peeps to work through, and that is a shame, but it is what it is. In the meanwhile, I think it might even be worth me running a quick, and quick is the wrong word, there's nothing quick about this path, a dirt path all along there just to make that trip a little bit easier. Well, that being said, we might be able to get ourselves some gravel paths in the near future. We've now got 2 jugs of water. Now this little area is down to 13.3C, which is very, very nice indeed. And we're already starting to put some of the roofs up. Fantastic. Okay, well, we've got a decent amount of work for our peeps to do, so hopefully we'll be able to get a goodly amount of that done reasonably fast. I might make a way in here from this room, rather than have Amira have to go outside in order to get in here. That is a reasonable question, but for the time being, well, yes, I wouldn't mind using that space if I'm perfectly honest. So yeah, we'll use the space as additional storage. I was humming and hawing over whether or not to do that, but I think ultimately that will be a wise move at the end of the day. We can go ahead and pop a little door right there if we want to, and that'll give access to this room. It doesn't have to pull down the wall there either. In this whole area, we should be good as far as the roofing goes, because no part of this roof is ever more than 2 tiles away. Though I believe if you build the roofs out properly, you can end up in a situation... Oh, really? Why are you all so dumb? Please tell me you are on work mode. Is it still work time? I do believe it is. It should be. Maybe it is not. Okay, you know what? Let's get you both working hard to release Bentham's stupid sister before they poop themselves and then starve. I'm not entirely sure, based on the attitude of the clanfolk, which they would consider the worst fate. Well, there we are. Thank you very much for that. Let's get you back onto regular work. Sorry about that, Amira, but look, you know, you did it to yourself, really, when you think about it. At this point, we're going to want to move Amira's bed in here. This will be a very fine bedroom for you, Amira. I hope you're going to appreciate it. Additionally, I'm going to need a light source in here, because you very much do not like being in the dark. This will probably be one of the first places that we're going to be putting up a torch, and to get a torch we're going to need to unlock a torch, I suppose. Look, we got to spend points to make points. It's kind of like money, you know. Right, I'm going to let the clanfolk have a good solid rest, and bring you back hopefully at a point where we have everything set up and the new bedroom ready. So see you on the morrow. New baby sheep has been born. Fantastic news. Alright, we've got our first lamb. Now the lamb, I imagine, is going to stick fairly close to its mother. We've already got an animal bed, so we shouldn't really have to do too much to take care of that lamb. which will be very, very nice. The less work we need to do, the better at all times. Increasingly, I'm thinking we need to move more of the storages outside. The clay makes sense next to the kiln. One thing we are going to have to move, though, and I was rather silly for sticking her in there in the beginning, is the mushroom drying rack, because this is ultimately going to become our freezer, and it's actually starting to get a nice, good low temperature at this point. It's at 9 degrees at the moment, but at night it dropped as low as 4.7. Now, mushrooms do not dry in the cold, and it's going to get very, very cold in there indeed. At least it should. Let's go ahead and start gathering some mushrooms where we're able. There's not going to be too many yet. There'll be a few out and about, I imagine. No, only those in front of the house. That's fine. These stumps will allow mushrooms to grow a lot faster, so that doesn't surprise me too much. Right, we've got our bed in there. We've got a window in there. Once we have removed this stone, we will be able to go ahead and build our first torch. We'll pop it over here. Now, the torches do provide their own little bit of light. If we have a look over... heat. Only 4 degrees, though, and it only develops it over 12 tiles. The main thing that you're going to be wanting to look at with the torch is its lighting. It is not really useful as far as heating goes. But we do have the meat rack at long last. Let's get that up and running as a bit of a priority. Let's bump that all the way up to an 8 priority. These jobs over here, I kind of want to be done soon. Let's bump those up to a 7. Hopefully they'll get done a little bit faster as a result. Now, let's have a watch of this. Well done. That's all the branches. We just need a bit of straw. And do we have straw available to us? Not really. Okay, well, let's go and break this down then. There we are. We've now got the straw that we're going to need. But we definitely do need to start bringing in hay. Now, the hay will be threshed into straw as is necessary, however much we really need. Loads of rats out here running away from a fox down there. Please don't run into our house. We do not have room for you. Sorry, but no. We've also almost finished off the roofing over here, so our ingredients should, by and large, be okay. What I wouldn't mind setting up is perhaps saying that stone does not get stored there. Nor should really clay be stored there, if I'm honest. There we are. We've unlocked the jug pallet. Oh, this is going really, really well now. Let's get a jug pallet in there as well. The jug pallet in particular requires 8 logs, 5 twine, 12 branches. But as I've mentioned previously, it can hold a very healthy 6 jugs of water. And eventually, this is going to be 6 jugs. Oh, the rock heap as well. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic news. We're really starting to branch out now in terms of our storage options. This is going to be a really, really big thing for us. We can expand this stockpile a little bit more. Let's pull that out there. There we are. And this room is done. Fantastic. Right, what we want then is to go into Objects, Basic Needs, the wall torch. We'll pop that there. It'll shine light onto the bed. The bed now needs to very specifically be locked to a mirror because no one else is going to want to sleep in this room because it's going to be kept light all the way through the night. Additionally, we are going to want to put flammable blockers all around this little area there just to keep this all nice and safe. Now, with that done, how is everything else going? We really should start getting more of the dry... Well, actually, they've already dried those mushrooms. Well done them, I suppose. Hopefully, we can get this set up reasonably fast. We're bringing in the twine. It looks like we've got everything we're going to need for this one. We are still hurting for the straw, though, over on the meat rack there. We've now also unlocked the standing torch, which is going to be particularly nice. The standing torch, much as you imagine, can just freestand. It doesn't need to be attached to a wall, but as a consequence, it does have a much larger area that it can cast sparks. You may have noticed that the torch can only cast sparks forward, out from it, so this is a little bit safer, but much like the cooking fire, it's not the best thing. In fact, if I really want to make the best use of the space, have the torch in the corner, because then I'm only going to have to restrict 3 tiles and not a full 5, which will allow us to use this side for other things besides. Hopefully, Amira is going to appreciate this room, and the consequence of that is that we're going to see their mood get much, much better, much faster. A nice big room all to themselves. We'll have to wait for nighttime to properly see that, though. Now, this should start pulling all of the jugs from over there, but might take us a little time to see that properly set up. Nevertheless, we could add in maybe another rat trap around here somewhere. We're seeing the rats running to and fro. Maybe if we popped a little rat trap there, would, at the very least, they would get the rat trap out of the way, I suppose. Now, we've got one idea point currently just standing there. Let's have a look through. Another thing we could do is get some better flooring, as that would in turn rise the mood of our peeps a bit more. We'd need 2 for the clothes zone. I think maybe we should wait on the clothes zone, if I'm perfectly honest. That seems like a higher priority. But the flute is a solid investment. So, yeah, we're going to grab the flute. I know I keep unlocking new things, but right now, what we're trying to do is simply get to a point where I can have a decent amount of ways for our people to rise their mood. And entertainment is something that they've been sorely lacking for quite some time, unfortunately. So that will hopefully help out a little bit with that. Now, we've got flax stems over here. How much straw have we got? We've got a queue for a lot of straw, and that is a planting job. So let's have a quick look at skills and see if we can't bump up the planting job just a wee little bit more. In fact, yes, let's shimmy down the harvesting. So planting takes priority over harvesting. That's not the best way. Like, if I had a dedicated farm, I would be very wary of doing this in case they would plant, let's say the whole field was planted and was now harvestable. They might harvest one tile and then rush off to get seeds to replant the now available tile. So I'd have to see how that works. If they get the seeds from the crop that they just harvested and so they're just immediately replanting it, it might actually be more efficient that way, but we would have to see it in action to really be able to say one way or another. Unfortunately, it looks like Amira is not going to get a slept in light bonus here, but that should be okay for now. At the very least, they'll have a very big room to be able to settle down into. I want to see you report how you feel about this room before we do the next time skip. It's all waiting on that right now. So you're bored. That will hopefully get better once we've got a flute. Well fed, low light. Yes, that's an unfortunate one. But let's get you. There we are. You're having a little bit of a chat, I think, talking about storage. Right, let's have a look. You've got a private room, so that's +5 sleep per second, plus 1,000 maximum to your mood, and large room plus 200 to your environment. All of these things are coming together to rise your mood, so we can get a full breakdown of the mood here. Base change is it increases by 30 every second. Entertained, well, okay, so you had a bit of a chat. That's added 1,000 to the maximum that it can rise to. Well fed is added 500. Private room is added 1,000, so that's a really important one. Darkness fear is nixing 1.5 of the private room and entertained bonus. So that's actually really quite painful. If we can get rid of that, that is going to be a big, big help for us. But hopefully your mood is going to be able to rise to a decent level. And as a consequence of that, we're going to start generating more ideas as we move forward. Bentham, on the other hand, is on cloud 9 right now. But Bentham is a massive optimist and is currently sleeping in a huge room. And this now counts as a private room for the two, because they are a single family unit. This would also count if they had their children in the room, I think up until juvenile. At that point, they start wanting a bit more privacy, but at least as long as the child is a baby, that doesn't seem to impact the private room buff, so that's quite an important one as well. Alright, the next big focus of us is going to be getting in mushrooms, getting in straw. As always, that means thrashing. So hopefully we can see a little bit of that done. Bentham's about to make a flute. And if we're super lucky, they might even play that flute for another quick bonus to entertainment. We'll have a quick look. There we go. And you'll be able to hear Amira playing the flute. Now, pay very close attention. Amira is making mistakes because Amira is young. Hasn't had as much chance to practice. All of the clan folk are studious when it comes to their music, and really it's only based on their age, with the idea that the older they are, the more practice they've had, thus the better they become. So by the time they become senior, they won't just be playing the tune, they'll be throwing in embellishments and flourishes all over the place. There are several different instruments in the game, and once you've got a couple of like a healthy supply multiply and variation on the instruments, then having a couple of family members, like adults to seniors, just jamming out together is actually incredibly cool. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. But that should have really lifted Amira's happiness there. Though, actually, you're straight back to bored. I'm a little bit surprised by that one. Well, fun was going up, I would imagine. The others were probably getting some sort of benefit from it. But we'll have to see how that goes for a little bit. Unfortunately, we do have some raw meat in there just slowly decaying. That's not going to be making anyone happy at all. In terms of food, we've got a decent amount of food supplies. What we're really needing right now is, of course, straw. Okay, so I'm going to speed things up again, and I shall bring you back when there's a little bit more to report. Okay, for the last little while, Bentham's been running around like a lunatic, trying to get everything sorted to where it needs to go. And to be fair to him, he's actually made some pretty astounding progress in that goal. However, there's one thing in particular that I would very much like to be able to store properly and thus free up a lot of space in the main area here, and that is a stockpile for tools, which, if we have a look down here, needs us to have made 3 stone axes, 3 stone hoes, 3 stone picks. We've already made 3 stone sickles because we used so many of them. So right now, I just need to manufacture 1 extra stone axe, stone hoe, and 2 extra stone picks. So that's exactly what we're going to do. 1 axe, 1 hoe, and 2 extra stone picks. Now, there may also be a use in us being able to store all of our instruments. That as well is going to come down to having enough of them to open that up. And we're going to need 1 extra flute as well for that one. So let's go ahead and make another. In fact, if I'm honest, I wouldn't mind having 2 people able to do each of these jobs at this point. So let's go ahead and ensure that in the future these are maintained up to 2. I really don't know if we're going to need extra hunting, but you know what, sure, we'll add that up as well. We'll have 2 longbows besides. Now, in terms of food, we're not doing terribly badly, but it could be a little bit better if I'm perfectly honest. To that end, it might actually be to see nuclear green ponds. That don't think too much about it. It's dangerous. Let's get down here and take out... Have we got many stags? Yeah, we've got plenty of stags there. Let's go ahead and hunt this stag in particular. It's just become an adult. You never really want to hunt the young, though perhaps going for those that aren't quite as young as that. Ones that aren't long until they're seniors would probably be better, but I think taking out that 1 stag shouldn't be too much of a problem to the deer population over here. Now, having a look indoors, we've already got this lit. This requires straw to light, so hopefully Amira is going to be happy with that. Another thing we could do is perhaps set up another room specifically this time for any guests that we might want to stay here. We could allow them to have a single room to themselves, or we might go the route of saying that any guests have to share a room, and it's not as big of a room. Though that being said, if we made it this big, it probably would still count. And in fact, if we were to do this, well, we could just place the door there, honestly, and it would still count. Not really sure what we would do over there, but we can easily put a roof down in this area. That should be decent enough to allow any guests to have a nice, reasonable sized room. They wouldn't get the private room benefit, but we could try to maintain that. I would like all of the rooms, though, to have vent proximity to this room in particular, because this one is where we've got the main body of our heat generating items. Now, how warm is this one? It's 24 degrees in there, even though it's only 8 degrees outside, and in here it is currently 5.2 degrees at the moment, which is not bad at all. One of the nice things with having water, by the way, is that our peeps will tend to drink from the water jugs themselves, and that in turn will allow them to, I believe it gives them cleaner water, effectively. Now, if we have a look at Amira, look at your mood. That is looking very nice. You've got a little bit of a negative because of the environment, because sadly we've got all of this rock around there. Over here, environment's actually looking quite nice. Well fed, private room, entertained. So a lot of bonuses there. Work, we've got a bonus to their work and experience multiplier as well, which I think all feeds into the ideas down here. Wow, Bentham is a really, really good place. Very, very nice place. But Amira, we still need to work on this a little bit more. Namely in getting all of these rocks moved around. I'm not sure if we've got much room over there. Sadly, they only stock to 1 each. So we're actually going to need quite a few of those storages to be able to hold all of the rocks that we've got. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and build another 2 of them just to try and get all of these rocks out of there if we're able. In fact, I am going to allow you to store them there as well. We might as well allow it for the time being. I have brought the dump a little bit closer just to help out a bit as well, so hopefully that's going to make things better for them. I should have had that on the maximum speed there. I do apologize, just whiling the night away unnecessarily. Now, can this make it all the way through the night or not? Let's find out. No, it does go out at that point, and you get a little bit unhappy about the low light and fear of the dark, but I think you're generally okay. There we go. Now, if we can get all of that done quickly, then it will be wonderful to have a couple of better storages for the tools that we've got inside, as well as getting some more moved around here. Now, it might be very tempting to want to put a torch in the freezer, because yes, they'll be able to see things better, but no, we're not going to be doing that because it kind of works against what we're trying to do. There we are. Now we need to make the last 2 stone picks and then the last flute, and we will have everything there that we're going to need. Thank you very much, Amira, for getting that all sorted. There we are. Ideas is at level 2, which means that ever so long last, we can open up the vacancy sign. Let's get that placed down. Now, signs over here requires a little bit of charcoal. That's why we needed the charcoal, by the way. We're going to have the vacancy sign. We can just pop it right there, I think. And hopefully we will start getting some peeps around to partake of our fine hospitality over here. Right, there we go. Let's let time speed up again a little bit. I would like these to be stored as a higher priority because it is pulling down Amira's happiness in her room, and the whole point of giving her that massive room was to try and help with that. We've now got the tool rack unlocked, so let's go ahead and build one of these. Where are we going to put it? Honestly, we could just plonk it anywhere, and here is as good as anywhere else, frankly. And there we go. We have now unlocked the instrument rack as well, so we will pop that one in there. And as soon as these are made, we should be good. At this point, we're just making one last stone sickle, since I had told you to start keeping a reasonable amount of those available. Now working on the bow. Hopefully someone has already made their way down here to take out that stack. Perhaps not, though. Oh, Kyra, there we are. Are you hunting? You are indeed. Let's have a look. You're currently snoozing. No, you're currently following Bentham. Thank you very much, by the way, to the fantastic commenters who pointed out that we can just click this button and find all of our animals, and that Orestes by default is only following Bentham. There are 3 modes. Follow mode, where they will only follow their owner. Hunter mode, where they will follow anyone who's hunting and then guard livestock. And finally, guard mode, where they will prioritize guarding livestock. I think hunter mode is all we need right there. But let's go down and have a quick gander at what's happening over here. You can see a couple of straight arrows here and there. And are you hitting the... Did you just hit the fox? You did. What a scoundrel you are. Light bleeding. I told you to hunt a deer. No, why is that? What? Kyra, what? Don't even. I don't even. I'm sure the food will come along eventually, but, well, it is what it is, I suppose. Hopefully we can get these built together reasonably soon, but right now we're getting all of these rocks all stored up, and that is honestly a bit of a high priority. I want to make sure that these environments are good environments. The environment here is still a -10. I'm not entirely sure why. Let's have a quick look. Is it just the room is -210? Okay, I guess it's just the natural flooring that's doing that then. So given that that is actually impacting in a fairly big negative, we might want to beeline straight for brick floor or tile floor. I'm going... Well, we could also go for stone floor, I suppose, which is a little bit of a cheaper one for us to grab early on. Sure, okay, we've got plenty of stones, we might as well use them. Now, if we have a look over at the different types of floors, so dirt path, it's not a good thing to have indoors, whereas stone floors are both good outdoors and indoors. So let's go ahead and set up this room, and in fact, at this point, we can set up both rooms entirely to have stone floors. There's no reason not to, really. There we go. Now, that's going to be an awful lot of work to be done. At this stage, we no longer need the tool storage, since we've got that tool rack right there, and there we go. So much meat gathered. That is fantastic. Though we're going to need an awful lot of clay for this one. Okay, well, at least we've got clay coming in as is, so that one shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully we can bring in all of the meat quickly, because we are going to need to work through that one reasonably fast. There we go. That's the ding that I have been waiting for. Christian is over here and is looking for a bed to rent for the night. I will happily take you on. Heavy sleeper, healthy and hard worker. Doesn't matter, they're not going to work, but they are immediately going to go and alleviate themselves, and then they're probably going to want a snack, and then they're going to tuck it down with Kyra and Bentham. Now, we are no closer to getting this area opened up, sadly. I would very much like that to be done reasonably soon, and we are going to expand this out. This is going to be a very nice little guest room down there. But you can see that Christian is wearing their family tartan. They're from the Forbes Grace Me Guide. If we have a look at clans, they are the first clan that we've encountered at this stage, so that's going to be an important one ultimately. Now, there's plenty of oats over here that we should be able to gather, so I'm going to set up the clear grasses order over here. Hopefully we can get this done before too many more days have passed. We're almost at mid-autumn, which is not the best place for us to be, if I'm perfectly honest. We should be much, much further ahead, but it is what it is. Right then, Christian, let's have a quick look at you. Your satisfaction is reasonable. We're going to get 25 coins for this, and your satisfaction continues to rise. You've got a huge room and you're well fed. So your clan reputation will also rise along with that, so hopefully we're going to be able to get it to a point where we can make a little bit of money off this. At this stage, if we were to have a worker, we might be able to pay for the rent, the wage of the worker just from rents from other characters. But once we've got a nice big room that's able to pull their satisfaction up a lot faster, then that in turn will be a big help for us. That can potentially be a quite a significant money maker, and we might even find that that's how we're going to get through winter for our animals, because at the stage that we're at, we do not have enough materials together to be able to take care of all the animals. They are going to be without all of the food that they're going to need, which is a bit of a concern, as you can well imagine. Now then, with that done, let's have a peek. The sheep are just out eating as they will. These grasses obviously will die back during winter, so we kind of want to get the most out of that we can for now. I'm also going to set up harvesting as many mushrooms as possible. These now take significant priority over lumber, for example. Additionally, we still want to gather as much clay as we can. To that end, let's go ahead and adjust skills. What kind of job is that? Let's have a quick look. It's a gathering job, so let's pump someone else's gathering up. Well, you know what? Sure. Let's put your gathering up there, Bentham. You can help out ahead of crafting for the time being. This also means you're going to be gathering a fair old bit of mushrooms, but that's fine. I'm not going to be too worried about that one. In terms of the quality of the food over here, we should be okay. We're already cooking some more as is. Hopefully we'll be able to get some of that clay coming in reasonably soon, but for now a lot of it is going to just be gathering the mushrooms, and that's perfectly fine. Getting those dried is going to take care of our colonists' well-being. Christian, are you heading off at this point? Yes, you paid 30 and we gained 7 clan reputation. Nice. If we have a look down here now, Forbes. If we slow this down just for a second so I can go through this, this tells us where they come from. They're a coastal clan. This is our current reputation stars, and this will affect the likelihood of a job seeker, a traveller, which is what Christian was, or a trader spawning. It'll also dictate how many of them can potentially spawn, and in the case of traders, how many items that they will have. So here's the percentage chance of them spawning and how many will spawn. Here's what they would buy from us. Here's what they would sell to us. Currently they would sell us eels or eggs. All of these are unlocked by having a better clan reputation. So it does matter to have clan reputation for the traders in particular, because it is going to gate what you can actually trade for with that clan, which, as you can imagine, is going to be a very, very important part of the whole process for us. Now, the mushrooms themselves are going to slowly decay, so we do want to be working through these as realistically as quickly as we can. To that end, I'm going to go ahead and say just go ahead and take this all the way up to 1,000. Let's make sure that we've got plenty of mushrooms there. In fact, I could even tell them to just keep going for as many mushrooms as available. For example, if I just added this in and told them to repeat the queue, they would just keep going. That might not be a bad idea, if I'm perfectly honest. So sure, let's go ahead and do that. We'll take this off entirely, and we're just going to have them repeat that queue endlessly. As soon as these mushrooms are done, they should go to grab the next lot as well. Okay, that one is gone. Let's make sure that is in fact on. Hopefully this will work. It was probably because that was an automated task. It had the little golden cog, and then even when I was trying to add manual tasks, it was just adding it to the automated task queue. Let's hope that that is the case. We'll keep an eye on it just to make sure. This fox, how about we take you out? Where are you headed off to? You are heading up to take on the rabbits. Whether you get that or not, no, you're not going to. Persephone has decided that that rabbit is our rabbit. So, sorry, fox, you're going to have to go elsewhere. We've got Miri. They are from Macintosh, touching off this cat without a glove. Our favourite motto. There we go. Come on in. Hopefully you can enjoy your stay. I know it's a little bit messy in here, and we haven't gotten around to sweeping up the main room for a while, actually. But we will get there soon enough. At least we've got fresh water, and there is plenty to eat. So hopefully you won't mind too terribly badly. And if you come back in soon enough, then you'll also be able to enjoy Bentham playing the flute. Can't say fairer than that. That being said, though, we are going to need to get workers reasonably soon. We're up to day 5 in fall, and we've got an awful lot yet to work on. Okay, looks like Marie will probably be heading off soon. We've managed to get up to a rent due of 30 and a clan reputation gain of 5, so I can only imagine that's going to continue to go up a little bit over time. For the time being, I'm actually going to cancel the flooring. Ooh, we've unlocked sacks. Okay, very nice. But I'm going to cancel the flooring in here and just focus on getting this one room set up, because it is taking a long time. I'm going to be honest, I did underestimate how much effort was going to be involved in getting this stone flooring down, but we've still got tiles that we can lay, so hopefully we will get to that reasonably soon. Used to contain flour or fertilizer. Unlock some more stuff. Oh, very well. Let's go ahead. Now, I know that in the last time I played this, we used sacks for a lot of things, so I'm just going to go straight ahead and tell them to maintain 10 of them. However, that is going to require straw, and straw is not something we have an awful large supply of, I'm going to be honest. So we may want to get on that as fast as we can. We've also unlocked the masonry place. Okay, that's very, very nice indeed. I'm going to go ahead. I would like to move that up there if I honestly could, but right now we just don't have the room in here to do that, sadly. We would need to expand it out perhaps a little bit more, but for the time being, what I would like is to have it right next to the kiln, but that just isn't feasible for us right now. So instead, we'll pop it out there. That'll allow us to store the brick and the tiles there. We'll compact those spaces, maintain a larger amount of room for the other materials that we're trying to get down here and there. So that should help out in the long run. Now then, this is a clothing job. Who has a decently high clothing priority? That would be Amira. There we go. I'm also going to pop your clothing priority above hauling, since you do enjoy it. But we've got so many jobs right now. That is ultimately the biggest problem. We've got a lot of jobs and not that many hands to do said jobs. And this is going to be an ongoing problem for us, I'm afraid. Okay, we've made our very first sack, and by doing so we have unlocked graves pet graves, which are going to be important, obviously. And additionally, I do believe we have unlocked, we've unlocked the sackcloth shirt and bottoms. All right, let's get those going. We're going to want to make sure that we always maintain at least one available of each one, with the idea that they will then go and equip them as necessary. I could perhaps say to keep 2 available, that might be useful, but for the time being I just want 1, unless we need more than that. No, we only need 1 of each, and then we can make the clothing basket, and that is going to be absolutely fantastic for us. Now, what we're waiting on is someone to decide to do a bit of mining over here, though Bentham is really focused on getting things sorted, and right now it frustrates me enough to see all of this mess everywhere that I'm just going to let Bentham focus on that for a little while longer, even though this is actually quite important for us to get to work on. Are we... Yes, you're going to go and grab all of the trees that we dug up while making that path, which is fantastic. Now, the sackcloth bottoms that we've got provide some warmth, but they are itchy and they are also ugly. If we have a look at everyone, I don't believe that anyone actually has any clothes. Oh, we have unlocked oats. Fantastic. We probably unlocked a few other things. Besides, we've unlocked clothing. We kind of already had that, I think. Let's see. The clothing basket has been unlocked. Let's have a quick look. So we've got the clothing basket there. We can now plant oats should we want to. We've also unlocked fur hats. We unlocked the clothing zone. That's what we unlocked. I was rather confused. We've also unlocked the sackcloth tunic besides, which is actually going to be reasonably helpful for us. Now, with that in mind, I need 1 clothing basket to get to the cat bed, and then from that we can move on to a couple of other things. But we are going to make sure that we have 1 of everything, pretty much. I want to maintain at least 1 of every piece of clothing that we have available, simply because that gives people the option to change into them if they need. Now, in the beginning, that's not necessarily the ideal way of doing it, simply because if we only have like 1 change of clothing available, we might not have the necessary materials around to make a set for everyone, because we may have sold away because we had too much leather around and people just weren't equipping the fur item. So you might find that it's a bit better to maintain enough for every person in the colony to wear 1, or maybe just like 1 less than every person. I don't know. Your mileage may vary. You could, of course, just make enough for every person in the colony, and as the colony grows, just manually make some more. That would also help. Now, the way the clothing basket works is it gets priority on storing any clothing, obviously, but also when someone goes to bed, if they are too warm, they will take those clothes off and they will put them into the clothing basket, which is actually really, really useful as well. There we are. We've unlocked the fur cloak. We will add these in. I'm just going to pause it there for a second as well. There we go. And there. Right, who have we got over here? Now, it's always wise to grab the travelers as fast as you can. Decide whether they're joining or whether they're not, because the longer you leave them there, the more opportunity they have of their needs increasing. And whilst those needs aren't being satisfied, it means you have to kind of work over that hurdle of their needs before you can actually get to the point where you're generating a better satisfaction for them. Though there is another on their way. They just haven't gotten here yet, so I'm actually kind of tempted. I'm going to be honest, for us to pop down another sleep mat. Now, whether we can get this done quickly or not, I'm not sure. I'm going to pop that right up to a priority of 9. And we'll see if anyone gets to building that, if we even have the materials necessary for it, or whether people are going to go into their downtime. We will find out. It's still work time right now, so we may see that get built. Hopefully we do. And, oh, come on now. Has it? It's time off. Drat. Okay, Bentham, you are, in fact, on overtime. And Isabel, we are, of course, going to bring you in. Come along in, grab some food, pop to the loo, etc., etc. Take care of those needs, and hopefully we can get this bed done ASAP. Bentham is grabbing a snack as well, but then hopefully we'll go get this bed ready, because Bentham's not going to sleep until it's done. I'm afraid to tell you. Really? Are you going down? You're going to go and wash your hands? Well, on one hand, I do admire you taking care of your hygiene. It is an important thing to take care of. But I really, really would like that bed done reasonably quick. because you need to sleep on it. Right, there we go. Let's get that done. There we are. Now, okay, well, you're just going to be sleeping in there tonight. It's down to you. Actually, what I could do is I could link these beds in particular to Kyra and Bentham, and that should force them to move. Right, let's get you back onto regular work time now. There you go. You should head down and snooze in there. Unfortunately, you're not going to like the light, I should imagine, but there we are. It's not too much I can do about that one. Really? No. Why? Okay. I guess we're going to lock this one to Isabel. There you go. And now I'm just going to unlock it there. Sometimes it can be a little bit fussy. Now, Isabel isn't going to be as happy with this room, I'm fairly certain, just because it's too bright, and that is working against the large room and the well-fed. That is unfortunate, but we'll still get 25 rent, ultimately. Jonathan, on the other hand, we will be getting a decent amount of rent from you, I should imagine, but we really do need to expand out these rooms as a matter of high priority. Alright, well, with that done, let's have a look at how things are going. Isabel having a quick wash. Amir just having a quick chat. That's fine. Now, can we see any more animals around here worth hunting? I'm not sure we're going to at this stage, unfortunately. Getting this late into autumn, I'm not so sure we're going to see any other quarry around. Certainly not the deers that we've seen up to now, at the very least. Oh well, it was. Hopefully, we can get food through winter thanks to the dried mushrooms, which we have 2 racks now, both set to just constantly get more mushrooms. So I suppose on that note, I really should get out there and gather some more mushrooms. Oh my lord, there are lots of mushrooms to gather. To be fair, okay, let's not give them too many tasks all at once. There's 68 there. There's 228 harvest tasks if we ever get to them, which we may well not. We'll have to see. But I'm reasonably happy at seeing more and more people popping in. And as you can see, Bentham is now actually equipping more clothing. He's got the fur hat, which very warm and stinky. This does drop the mood a bit, but unparalleled in warmth. 600 warmth there. 1,600 warmth from the fur cloak. Blocks rain, very warm and also stinky. Minus 400 mood. Very sad. So until they need the heat, they will tend to head out. This is, even though Bentham is wearing it, it is still marking it as having one available. So I guess in this case then, it counts worn items. I really wasn't sure. Alright, well, I'm going to increase all of these up to 3 then, to allow everyone to have 1 item of each of these different types of clothing, and then they can choose which one to wear when they have an opportunity. Just to cover their stats again, we've got the sackcloth bottoms and shirt, gives a warmth of 200, but no one likes sackcloth, it's very itchy. Then we've got the sackcloth tunic, warmth 300, mood minus 600, but there is an alternative, which is the fur tunic, which is warmth 800, but mood minus 300. So well, honestly, as long as it isn't too warm, they should go for the fur tunic. If it's too warm, so I guess they would go for the sackcloth tunic if they needed to. It's a bit of an interesting one there, actually. I wonder how they will prioritize, like what they're going to go for themselves. Hopefully, we will see them making some sensible decisions. Alright, while deciding to move my tool rack outside and build another one, because I noticed a bunch of tools on the floor, I realized that we don't have any branches. That is a dangerous thing to suddenly realize. So I've dropped down a bunch of new gather branches jobs. Now, these ones, I believe, are gathering jobs, so they should be taken care of reasonably high priority, because we do have a decent amount of gathering happening thanks to Bentham and Amira, and right now that does seem to be like a very sensible thing to set up. But I noticed that we've got another 3 idea points, so it is time for us to finally unlock the cat bed. Alright, that is done and done. This should automatically unlock the pet food bowl and the water bowl. Now, following on from that, I wouldn't mind getting a hide shelf, if I'm perfectly honest, but that's going to require an awful lot of dry hide to get done. Is there anything else we can go for? We could potentially go for the tiled peat stove. Now, this is a very efficient heat generator that we may want to set up ahead of winter time. Whether we can get to that or not, I'm not sure, but certainly we can afford to get the job board up and running, or at least we will as soon as we get the next idea, because obviously I didn't take into account that we just unlocked the cat bed. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and pop this cat bed down. We may as well have that in the main room, I think. That one is a quite high priority because our poor cat has been spending all of this time... Actually, we can just get rid of this one, I suppose, and move that across instead. But our cat has been spending all of this time having to lay on the concrete. It's time that they actually have a soft bed to lie in, just like our dog. There we go. And once we've got that set up, that should automatically unlock the pet food bowls, which will be very, very useful for us for numerous reasons. Let's move the drying rack across. I wouldn't mind moving the flute away as well, but we'll have to wait on that one. But here we go. There we are. Cat bed made, and straight in there. There you go, Persephone. That is long overdue. I hope you enjoy. Now, with that done, we can add the pet food bowl and the water bowl. Now, the pet food bowl is an interesting one. The water bowl does exactly what it says on the tin, so does the pet food bowl when it comes to your own pets. However, if you put it outside, then your pets... then wild animals will also eat from it, and they can slowly become tame. So you could tame, for example, wild chickens, or maybe even wild cats, honestly. We're not aiming for that, but we will obviously set this up as a bit of a priority. I'm going to just pop them in here for now, because it's the only place that I realistically have available for that, but we're hopefully going to be able to get a couple more options for our livestock relatively soon. We also need to repair that bed as well. Are you pregnant? Yes, you are. Okay, so we will be getting another lamb in a few months. Well, I'd say a few days, really, considering they're basically a season. But right now, we need to get a lot more harvesting done, unfortunately. And we've also got some more items, which is actually quite nice. Let's see. These jobs, I'm going to bump their priority because we are actually getting a little bit desperate. I'm going to pop that up to 7. So we should hopefully see Kyra heading out reasonably soon to get those done. If we have a look at the task list, the harvest jobs are still below the hauling jobs, the gathering jobs, and the cooking jobs, but we will get to that in time. No new travelers today, so we're not going to be seeing anyone dropping in to give us some extra cash. Sad to say, but it's just the way it is. But for now, we're going to have to let our peeps get some shut-eye. And talking about getting some shut-eye, I think that's going to be where we wrap up today's episode. In terms of concrete progress that we've made in today's episode, we have given Amira their own room, and in fact we have started to welcome guests of an evening. With a bed and a warm meal and also a poop place, we have actually started to improve our reputation with the nearby clans and also turn a little bit of a profit. Now, I can see a couple of ways that we can improve the efficiency of our setup, namely moving both Kyra and Bentham into Amira's room. For that, we would need to make sure that the light from the torch isn't actually reaching their sleeping spots, but that would allow the family to sleep together. They wouldn't really get the benefits of a private room, but they would still get a large room, and that would allow any guests to sleep in the huge room in the middle. That in turn would hopefully increase their general standing with us. But I think we've got some solid work to do. We've only got a few more days left of autumn, though. It is night 7, moving into day 8, and come the end of day 10, we will be in winter proper, and the temperatures will start to plummet. So we've got a lot of work to do before then, and a large amount of it needs to be to try and improve the lot of our livestock. That is going to be a real focus for us. Hopefully we can get trading set up before then, and that may carry us through the winter without having to cull any of our sheep, but we'll have to see how that goes. But that is going to be it from me. I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode and are enjoying the series as a whole, and I hope to see you in the next. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.